Hello there, everyone. Oversoul here. It's been a while since I've done an edited vlog like this, hasn't it? Yes, on the computer and not from my phone. Well, that's because in this vlog I got a lot to discuss, and there's a good chance I might say too much, so I'm probably gonna have to edit it. So I know I was quiet for like a week, and that's because I was dealing with some things. First of all, I was sick. I had an upper respiratory infection, so that made it a little more difficult to do commentary in videos and stuff like that. Somehow I still made it through an episode of Borderlands 3 that week. Not the most recent one that was done, but the previous week, the one before. I was sick during that episode. And if you couldn't tell, it's because sick me's commentary is the same as normal me's commentary. No matter what, my brain is still goofy. But I definitely felt very out of it. And there were probably a couple moments in the game where I didn't fully realize what I was doing, so I just kind of went on autopilot. That being said, though, at the same time, and I'm not going to get into a whole lot of details here for numerous reasons, but I was dealing with some stuff with work. And we've had problems there with people in authoritative positions doing and saying things that you really shouldn't be doing or saying in a professional environment. And unfortunately, reporting these things seems to get no results whatsoever. They just don't seem to care. Just another body in the building making the numbers. So, with that combined with a few other things, I regrettably have to announce here that I will be turning down the manager position at my job that I was talking about before. But I don't want anyone thinking that I gave up on something that I actually wanted or anything like that. This bears some explanation. And so I wanted to take the time to kind of, explain. The truth of the matter is, I'm not sure if I ever actually wanted that position to begin with. I think there was a point where I kind of genuinely did, when I was being trained on how to do stuff at night, and and I enjoyed doing the stuff on the computer and all that, but the more things went on, and especially with the pandemic, I mean, it's been hard on everybody, and suffering's not a competition, so I don't like playing compare and contrast between people's different things that are going on, Like when someone says the pandemic's been real hard on them and people are like, well, the pandemic's been hard on everybody. Well, yeah, but that doesn't lessen their pain. You know what I'm saying? That doesn't diminish their experience just because everybody's got the same thing. That's like if you finally get your license after years of trying, and you finally get it, and then you get your first car and you're all excited about it, and then somebody has to be an asshole and they're like, oh, well, everybody has that car, it's nothing special. Okay, well, the make and the model is beside the point. It's the fact that it's their first car. That's the important part. Maybe that's a bad metaphor, but I think you get what I'm trying to say, yeah? So anyways, the point is, and I was almost afraid whether or not to talk about this, but the truth is, I shouldn't be. I shouldn't be afraid to talk about this because there shouldn't be a social stigma against mental disabilities. People should be okay with talking about these things openly without fear of being judged for it. People shouldn't be ashamed or anything like that. So I'm not ashamed to say that I have PTSD. And I'm not ashamed to say that with that PTSD comes some anxiety and social phobias. Now, the thing is, years and years and years of practice, and just mentally preparing myself for the outside world, it finally gotten me to a point where I could deal with this, And I was actually doing good with my job for a while. I mean, they wouldn't even considered me for the manager position if I wasn't. And that's not something, if there's anybody out there that ever doubted I was even being considered for it and thought this whole story was just a load of horseshit, I would gladly have someone who I know would back me up on it post in the comments down below that, yeah, this is not horseshit. He was being considered, and then all this happened, and things changed, but, alright, but the point is, and some of you know the full story of what happened with work, that's fine. Those of you who need to know. The point is, after a while, it just got to be too much, and things just got worse and more difficult after the pandemic started, and morale deteriorated around there at work completely, and a lot of people were not doing much, and people who should have been doing things, with the exception of like one, maybe two people I can think of, uh, but there wasn't much in the way of trying to boost morale. If anything, it was just getting worse all the time. So, I mean, working in a fast food job is hard enough when you have the disabilities that I do, dealing with the Karens and the drunks, and it's just, it's one thing, especially when you have social phobia, and that's just not your typical crowd. Um, but then it's another thing when you also have to listen to coworkers say very, very outdated things that no one should be saying at all, ever anymore, about gay people and transgender people and different races. And, uh, yeah. I'm a very progressive individual, in case that wasn't blatantly obvious at some point, and there is no reality where I just sit by and let people say that kind of stuff and bite my tongue. It's just not me. It's not who I am. I will never not fight those people because saying shit like that to me is a reflection of your character and moral values at this point. Like, times change, and you gotta be willing to change with it. There are some things that we just should have never been saying or doing in the first place, but now that we've evolved to know better, and we've become more enlightened, some people still want to hold on to that old high school era mentality, and it doesn't make any sense to me why you would willingly want to say these things, and then get mad when people call you out on it. Like, just stop! Just stop doing it! It's not that hard. There's no reason to use these words anymore. There's no reason to say these things anymore. You're only doing it to be an edgelord and get a rise out of people. That's the only reason people do that shit. Because they want to be rebellious and edgy. They're doing it because people said they can't. That's why they're doing it. And to me, that's just stupid and juvenile and immature. On top of being racist, homophobic, transphobic, and everything else based off what they said. I just can't. Anyways, as you can clearly see, I take issue with that kind of stuff. And to me, if people at your job are doing that, you're in a hostile work environment. That's just how it is. It's not safe for anybody. That's not a comfortable environment to be in. Nobody wants that. And I know there's a lot of people that are going to be out there and be like, well, that's pretty much every work environment. But don't you see the problem here? It shouldn't be. There should be a zero tolerance policy for that shit. That's the kind of stuff that you should be fired for literally the second it comes out of your lips. No exceptions. I don't understand why places still let that slide. And I take a huge issue with that. So knowing that there are people there in manager positions that can get away with that kind of stuff made me want to be a manager even less. Like that is because it shows that to me, it makes me feel like going above and beyond wouldn't be recognized the way it should be. It wouldn't help. Because when I do see other people go above and beyond and step up and really, drive themselves forward, it doesn't get recognized. It doesn't get recognized at all. So it's not worth it. It's not worth all the extra effort when you get nothing out of it. But on top of that, the other thing that I thought was important to bring up about the manager stuff is that at the end of the day, after doing some very serious soul searching on a recommendation from other people among some other stuff, it turns out I don't think I ever really wanted it to begin with. Like I said, I think there was a time when I did, but the closer it got and the more I thought about it, the less I wanted it. The more I worked there and the more I saw the way things go down, the less I wanted it. And after a while, it became the disabilities, the mental disabilities that took over. After a while, the PTSD and all that just started getting the better of me. and I couldn't handle it anymore. So I used to work Wednesday through Sunday, but due to a combination of not wanting to be around certain people anymore because of them saying those things, and because of my disabilities getting pretty hectic on me, I'm now only working 3 days a week per my request. It's not like a punishment or anything. I requested this. This is what I want because it'll be easier on me. Maybe not financially, at least not at first. That'll balance itself out eventually. But for my mental health, it's what's best right now. And I'm not afraid or ashamed to say that. Because I realized, and this ties into this too, like I said, the manager thing at the end of the day is not something I really wanted. What I wanted, and this is going to sound horrible and completely out of character for me, but what I wanted was money, so I could, but not for greed reasons. I wanted money so I could stop struggling financially. I want to be able to pay all my bills without worry, but still have fun money left over to live comfortably. That and recognition, not fame, just recognition. I just wanted people to look at me and for once be able to say, hey, he succeeded at something, whether it be a relationship or a YouTube channel or a higher position at a job. I just wanted to finally be able to say I accomplished something worth mentioning in life, I just got tired of failing at everything. Everything. It bothered me so much. So much. And it took a real close friend that I've known for well over a decade at this point to point out to me that the fact that someone with my disabilities could have even gotten up and gone to work every day at a place like that for even as long as I did, and still continue to do it, albeit, I worked a 5-day week. I cut off 2 days, I'm still working 3 days a week, right? So, to me, he said to him, that is success. That is me. That's more success than a lot of people in my spot. And like I said, I don't want to play compare and contrast, but it is true that a lot of times when you have disabilities as severe as mine, just the idea of leaving the house is horrifying. It's absolutely mind-numbing. And to be able to do that is definitely takes a lot of courage and perseverance. So he's not wrong. And it kind of woke me up a little bit, because those who know me, they know I don't have the greatest self-esteem, and overthinking things way too much because of my anxiety has a lot to do with that. Always wondering what people are thinking. I mean, sometimes I take the simplest things, like someone being short with me because they're busy, because sometimes I have a bad habit and tendency to text people when they're at work or stuff because I'm up late at night. Our schedules are different. I work at night, they work during the day, right? So sometimes I will mistake simple things like people being short with me for them being irritated or annoyed or whatever. And it's just a mistranslation thing on my end because I worry and overthink and I have low self-esteem. So I always assume someone is always upset with me for something because from my past, that's what I'm used to. So many bad experiences just piled on top of each other. After a while, they cause you to build these defense mechanisms, And it's really hard to break out of that. It really is. So, this talk is, I guess, as much about mental health as it is about me not taking the manager position at my job anymore. But the thing is, and I already knew when I said this that there's probably be some people out there who are like, I knew he couldn't do it, whatever. But the thing is, I didn't give up. I chose me. That's what I did. I didn't give up. And frankly, can you even consider it giving up if it's something I didn't really want in the first place? I mean, when I think about it, that shit's way too much responsibility. I had limited free time as it was, but then I was thinking, oh god, then I'll have to be there during the day and for much longer hours, and holy shit, that's not worth $1 more an hour? Fuck that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking, to be honest with you. That might have actually been one of the stupidest things I ever tried to do. Not that... there was a point where I could have done it, But I think if this mental breakdown didn't happen when it did, it would have happened after I got that manager position and the stress of that started piling on and became too much, and that would have been a much bigger problem if it happened then. You see what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, I decided that my happiness and my mental health were way more important than some stupid promotion where the financial increase would not reflect the workload increase at all. You know what I'm saying? The paycheck increase would be insignificant in comparison to how much more responsibilities I would have in that position and the amount of stress I'd be taking on. And it's not worth it. It's not worth it at all. So don't be sad, don't be disappointed, and please don't judge me because it's not a bad thing. I didn't give up. I chose my happiness. And that's okay. It's okay to do that. And more people need to know that we live in a world ruled by these capitalistic ideals where, you're expected to put a majority of your life into working yourself to the bone so you can pay taxes and provide for your family and shit. But where do you come in? Where does your happiness come into that? You know, where do I feel like a lot of people don't consider their own happiness when they're trying to meet society's standards and society's ideals in terms of success and stuff like that. I mean, there are people out there who still say that there are successful YouTubers like Markiplier and shit who are making an actual living off doing this, plus Patreon and donations and stuff like that. But still, like, he's not out there like working at Payless on the side. Well, this is his job, and there are people out there who still think it's not a real job, and that's that outdated mindset from yesteryear that we try not to live by anymore, and it's because of those outdated standards and ideals that people force themselves to get just any old thing that comes along because, hey, we got bills to pay, right? So, yeah, we know you're miserable and you hate your life, but ComEd needs you to line their pockets a little more, so come on, get out there and toil. Ideally, everyone should be able to find a career that they're happy with, or at least a job that they're content with, something that's more their speed. People like me, with my kinds of disabilities, should not be working in fast food. That was my first mistake. I mean, it was great for a while, and maybe if this pandemic hadn't hit, maybe it wouldn't have been as bad. But I know lots of people besides myself who have had a pretty good hold on their mental disabilities for a while, but once the pandemic hit and everything started going downhill, that stuff started seeping back up, and things either got worse for them in that department. It's like a lot of hard work that's gone into overcoming these disabilities has been completely unraveled in this last year, and not just for me, for a lot of people, and some of them I know, and it's difficult to watch that, and that had an effect on me too, sitting back and watching friends and family members suffer like that, and oh god, it makes my chest tight just to talk about it. Holy shit, it's it's rough, and I wished I could have done more. I really did. I did what I could for who I could, but I really, really wished I could have done more. At the end of the day, though, like I said, I gotta look out for me too, and that's what I did with my job. I'm not going to apologize for not taking a position that I didn't really want in the first place, and that's why I'm trying to explain the truth behind it. And something what's even weirder about that, one of the things that helped me come to this conclusion is I'd been playing Persona 5 Royal. In fact, at the time of recording this, about an hour or so ago, I just finished it. Took me 110 hours, and I got the Platinum Trophy in it. Yeah. Which means I did everything, including the third semester stuff. No spoilers, I'm not going to get into details, okay, so don't worry about that. But what I will say is the general concept, because everyone knows this. The general concept behind that game is about these people who can go into an alternate world where they jump into people's minds, kind of like Inception, and once they're in there, they see a distorted reality based off those people's cognitive perception of their own, of the world around them, and their distorted desires. And it got me to thinking that maybe, like, just the whole distorted desires thing and all that stuff that they deal with, along with a few other really deep notes that they hit in the story, which I obviously won't spoil, but it got me to thinking about my own situation, and I thought to myself, damn, this really isn't, you know, because the, like, one out of a small handful of people in that, at my job that I actually like, one of the managers, the one that's my friend, he told me to really think about this too, do some soul searching and think about whether or not it's something I really wanted. Because when the news originally came that I was going to be switching shifts over to dayside, in order to learn some new things and start this process, I didn't take it well. It should have been a good thing. If I really wanted to be a manager, I would have been happy to hear that, but I wasn't. I was scared. I was upset. I was confused. I immediately thought I had done something wrong. Like, my mind went to all the dark and bad places first. And it shouldn't have done that. I shouldn't have done that. But that's what happened, which to me should have been a sign. But I was still kind of willing to try and accept it, you know? Or at the very least, I thought I had to, you know? I didn't know at this point that no was still an option. I felt trapped, I guess you could say. Or maybe I knew, but I was just afraid to say at that point because it felt like it was too late. Like, these plans were being made and now I couldn't back out, even though I could have. Which is obvious because I've backed out, but man, see, it's, to some of you, that's going to be a weird thought process. You're not going to understand why my mind goes that way. But what you're seeing right now, what you just heard, all that shit that I just said, all that shit me just said, everything that I just said, that's the process my mind goes through when I start overthinking things. The what ifs, the what ifs, the what ifs. And it's so hard not to do that. And you just got a visual example of how that works, you know, and some people, they can control that. I cannot. I try. And I'm not afraid to say this either, but the idea of leaving the closing shift where I had grown so comfortable and made friends devastated me to the point where I actually cried about it. And that was part of the time when I knew, and I think my friend realized as well, that maybe I shouldn't be a manager. Maybe I'm in over my head and biting off more than I can chew. Maybe I am taking on something that I don't really want just to prove a point, just to say that I could, just to say that I did, you know, to prove it to people from my past whose opinions frankly don't matter anymore anyways, or to myself because of my own self-esteem issues, or I don't know, just to anyone. I guess I just wanted to hear or see people say, for a change, you know, congratulations for something. Like, I've gotten so tired of just coasting, you know? I'm 31 years old and I feel like I've accomplished nothing. And I know that it is true that me beating my disabilities and finding a job is a huge accomplishment. And people aren't wrong, but see, the way my mind works, because I am so hard on myself, I can't even give myself that. I can't even give myself, because when people tell me that, as true it is, and I know deep down that it's true, that that's a good thing and it's an accomplishment, to me, I still just see it as, oh, my greatest accomplishment is working in fast food. Huzzah! I'll be sure to put that on my tombstone. And you see, it's a vicious cycle. And at the end of the day, that's all it really boils down to, is me just not wanting that position. I don't see it as a failure. At least not anymore. I did at first. I don't even see it as giving up. I see it as dodging a bullet, quite frankly. This is a good thing. It's not a bad thing. And I really hope everyone else understands why and can see it that way too. Because I feel like the timing was right, and if I hadn't come to this conclusion when I did, things could have gotten worse before I did. But anyways, that's more or less my reasoning behind all that. I talked about that for quite some time, but I felt it was important, and I hope you guys understand this little peek behind the curtain. That stuff is very difficult to talk about, and I appreciate your lending your ears and your understanding in these difficult times. I just want to be very clear that I have no intention of reverting back into, like, a full hermit. Like I said, I'll still be working 3 days a week, and on the bright side, having 4 days a week free will give me more opportunity to, one, work on videos over here on YouTube, and two, work on this live streaming stuff on Twitch, because since all this went down, I was kind of delayed on figuring out the live streaming stuff, but I do still want to live stream the medium directly from the PC. And in fact, I bought a copy of Final Fantasy X on Steam so that I could live stream that as like a random thing, like one day, if I'm home alone and I'm like, I feel like streaming. I'm just going to stream some Final Fantasy X right here from the PC with the overlay and all that fun stuff. Because I played that game a lot and I'm really good at it, and I kind of want to show off a little bit. So, and I heard in order to reach affiliate over on Twitch, you have to stream at least 7 days out of the month. And I'm not going to reach that if I keep streaming only 1 day a week. So, there'll be some ups and downs here, but I'm trying to figure some stuff out. But yeah, this will give me more time for that. So, look forward to us getting back on track here soon. For the foreseeable future, I'll still be doing Borderlands 3 over on Twitch with RMK Buried Alive and Funky Hurdles every Tuesday night. And I am continuing Observer System Redux. Matter of fact, you should see another episode of that coming out finally within the next couple of days after this came out, if you're watching this on the day it was uploaded. Also, I have plans in the pockets. Like I said, I want to do a live stream of the medium, or at the very least, a Let's Play or something. It's on the computer. I can do it. I just need to figure out how. I'm gonna do it. And I'm going to do Let's Plays of Little Nightmares 2 when that comes out next month, and Resident Evil 8 when that comes out later in the year. I still have The Suicide of Rachel Foster in the back burner to as a bit of filler content in between things. I've been thinking of doing a cinematic playthrough of Star Wars Vader Immortal episodes 1, 2, and 3 respectively, a la Iron Man VR here on the channel, because Vader Immortal is a VR game. And VR games are a little bit harder for me to record as Let's Plays now with my current setup, so I've been kind of reserving them for cinematic playthroughs like I did with Iron Man. So I should have a 3-episode Star Wars thing like that coming out soon. Speaking of Little Nightmares 2 and Resident Evil 8, I did demos. I did Let's Plays of the demos for both of those. Little Nightmares 2 was one of my regular Let's Plays with the face cam commentary and all that, and edited, and the Maiden demo is a complete one-shot playthrough, unedited, commentary only, no face cam, recorded directly from the PS5 in 4K and HDR. Go ahead and take a look at that. The full game, when I do a Let's Play of that, will have face cam and all that, and won't be with all the extra hubbubaloo. I just wanted to do at least one thing showing off the graphics of that game before we get to the inevitable downgraded version on my channel, sorry. It'll still look good, though, I promise. I'm gonna, spice that bitch up. And then I'm working on a big thing having to do... There's 12 music videos on the channel now, and at least... I want to say at least 10 of them. No. At least 8 of them have Funky Hurdles music. I have to go back and count. But I've got this big thing planned for that I want to do. It's going to be a big old, almost kind of like a documentary style thing. It's going to be fun. It's going to be a little peek behind the curtain, behind the editing, if you will, as far as the music videos go on the channel. I think that's going to turn out great. So look forward to that. But anyway, thank you once again so much for your time and your appreciation. I know I have a tendency to ramble, and these vlogs go on for a while sometimes, even when they're edited. But I felt like the vast majority of what I covered today, which was primarily the mental health stuff, was very, very important. And I just wanted other people, maybe if there's other people out there struggling with different things or even similar situations, I want you to know that it's okay to, I don't want to say give up. It's okay to choose you. You know what I'm saying? Not in terms of like selfish reasons, like the people who don't want to wear a mask. That's choosing that's that's choosing you while simultaneously screwing over others, which then becomes a problem. No, when I say choose you, I mean your mental health, not at the detriment of others, but it's like everyone deserves to be happy, I guess is what I'm trying to say. And don't let the pressure of those around you force you into a situation or cause you to convince yourself or have a distorted cognition of your own reality in which that's something that you have to do in order to finally be loved or accepted. It's like the traditional story of the dad who wants his son to work in the family construction business, but his son's like, "But father, I want to do ballet." And his father's like, "No son of mine's gonna do ballet." It's that stupid shit. And I mean, it's a cliche, but you get what I'm saying. At the end of the day, your life is your life. You choose your own path. You choose your own path. You can't let other people rewrite your reality and choose it for you. It's yours and yours alone. And there are other people in your reality, in your story, in your destiny, but at the end of the day, you're the protagonist of your own story, and you have to make choices that lead to your happy ending. Sometimes people may say it's the wrong choice, and sometimes people may judge you for it, but if it's not actually hurting anything, and you're not actually doing anything wrong, then by all means, choose what makes you happy. Because, frankly, you can't have the good without the bad. You can't have happiness without suffering. You can't have pleasure without pain. But at the end of the day, it's about choosing your happiness and what's best for you and your own mental health, Don't feel pressured into things. Choose your story. Make it yours, Don't feel like you have to go for that manager position just because they think you'll be good for it and because you think your life will be better if you get it and you'll get recognition and money. Because if you're not actually going to be happy there, if you don't actually want it, don't take it. Don't let outside influences decide that for you, If you would be happier living on your own, if you don't want to live with your parents anymore, don't let them pressure you into staying with them because you're helping with the bills or whatever. You deserve to be happy. You deserve to go live on your own or with your significant other or whatever, if you so choose. Or if you want to continue living with your parents and that's what makes you happy and it's a mutual agreement and they're happy with it too, then by all means. And who cares what people think? Fuck them. If you're happier with the Xbox, buy the fucking Xbox. Who cares if all your friends have the PlayStation? If that's not what you want, don't get it. Don't be pressured into it just because that's what they have. Get what you want. Do what'll make you happy. If you don't want people bothering you before noon, turn your phone off. Don't turn it on until afternoon. And just to be clear, I'm not saying give up on your dreams or anything like that. Sometimes, like I said, you need the pain. chasing dreams, as I know from experience, can be a painful process and sometimes very fruitless. But there's a difference between, this and the manager position at work that I could have taken. The manager position at work was almost a guaranteed thing until all this stuff happened and I decided no, you know. But I wouldn't have been happy with it. I would not have been happy with it at all. I just know that for a fact. I was unhappy with the idea of it the closer it got. This, however, this stuff right here, is a constant migraine-inducing gamble of numbers and uncertainty. But I love it. I fucking love it, man. I love doing this. I absolutely love it. And this is the kind of thing that if I could just do this forever, I would die happy. I really would. I don't think that's a realistic goal, but that's not going to stop me from trying to fight for it. And that's the thing. It's about what makes you happy. Yeah, we all got bills to pay, and yeah, we all have to find shitty jobs at least at one point in our lives in order to pay those bills. But don't settle. Don't settle for something you're not happy with. Always fight for what'll make you happy. Always go for what'll make you happy. And for some people, that might be a manager position in a fast food restaurant. If that's what makes them happy and if that's what they enjoy, then that's great. More power to them. They deserve to be happy. They found their spot. They found their calling, and they're content now. Their life is complete, but that's not the case for everybody. And there's something out there for everyone. It's a matter of finding it. And until that point, we're all just doing what we can to survive. But hey, look at me. Look at me. Look at me. Look. You matter. I matter. We all matter. We're important. Our feelings are important. They matter. And it's okay. It's okay to choose you and your happiness first. It's okay to do that. So hey, I just wanted to give you guys a little bit of an update on what's going on, but also some encouragement at the same time. Honestly, get out there and do what you gotta do, man. Make those dreams come true. Cut those toxic people out of your life. Do what you gotta do to make yourself happy. If that means finding a different job, or getting promoted, chasing your dreams, finally asking that person out that you've been crushing on. Life's too short for all this negativity and bullshit. It's time to just start grabbing it by the balls and be like, look, I refuse to let fate or destiny control what's going to happen to me in my life anymore. Taking this shit into my own hands now. And even if bad luck comes my way, I will face it head on with optimism and the fury of 1,000 suns, for I have the power! Now I want you, every day, to look in the mirror and repeat all that I just repeated to yourself in the exact same voice tone with the exact same hand movements and expressions. Because if that shit doesn't cheer you the fuck up, nothing will. Oh my god, it's been almost an hour. Anyways, alright, well, it's time to wrap this up. But yeah, anyways, lesson of the day is it's not worth putting yourself through misery just to say you succeeded at something if it's not something you're actually going to be happy with. If it's just for the happiness and the acceptance and acknowledgement of those around you, if it's false happiness, it's faux happiness because you're only getting momentary pleasure from people patting you on the back saying, good job. And at the end of the day, though, that lasts a little bit, but then you go back to being miserable again, and at the end of it, that's not it, It's like those people who finally strike it rich, and they're like, yeah, I got all the money and everything, and oh, now what? What do I do with it? Oh, I'm so lonely, and I hate myself now. See, so it's sometimes not, the grass isn't always greener on the other side, and true happiness is completely subjective and dependent on the person. Not everyone will find true happiness in a hierarchy position. Some people out there are starving artists, painters living on commissions, but they're still happy. And then you have people sitting in a cubicle on a computer all day making bank, but they're miserable. Ideally, there's a balance somewhere between happiness and financial stability. And that is what I wish for everybody. And that is what everyone should strive for. It's doable. It's just not easy. And nothing worth having is gained easily. So thank you once again for your time, because this was a very long talk, but a very important one, and I appreciate you for sticking through the whole thing if you made it to the end. You are such a trooper, and it means a lot to me. Thank you so, so very much. And I hope maybe I said something that helped somebody out there. Who knows? I know that I had to hear these things in order for it to really finally click with me, and it helped me. So anyways, yes, look forward to all the things I said that are coming up in what little update part I actually talked about, and I hope you appreciated this deep dive into a talk on mental health. I don't think I've actually had a conversation this serious on my channel in a long, long time. So that's pretty deep. And if there's any passing words, if there's any last words of wisdom I would like to leave you with, it would be this. Don't chase down easy goals just to say you accomplished a goal. Chase down the goals you actually want to accomplish. And with all that being said, thank you all so much for watching, and I will catch you, possibly on another day, definitely at another time, and likely in another video. Okay, goodbye.